All right. So we'll just do a quick little live thing here. We're going to be taking a look at some Pathfinder Jungle of Despair stuff. I know I opened up one box of these already, but I figure I have this one, so I might as well just do a couple little live streams here and open up some more. So let's open up 4 of these. Very light. I don't know. Frankly, I'm not sure how heavy the miniatures that I want are. I know that this is here. Hello, Crafting Titan. Well, I hope your inspiration comes from within, because that's where all good D&D inspiration comes from. Don't look outwards for your D&D inspiration. Look within, my friend. Ooh, look at this, guys. I actually like this. I got another Quaddle, which is a pretty cool miniature. Once again, Quaddles, they used to be the most powerful D&D miniature in the old D&D miniature strategy game. I'm happy with that, Paul. Ooh, and I got another eagle. Also good. I like this eagle miniature. Looks a little bit dirty, but it is not too bad. We have another nymph. Thank you, Crafting Titan. Yeah, I mean, it's just I'm gonna probably stop buying so much pre-painted stuff and concentrate more on cheaper miniatures. I'm gonna probably film after this. I'm gonna film some stuff on cool miniature and not stuff. Here's one of these Archer guys. I always find it very disappointing when one of the miniatures that I don't like happens to be one of the miniatures that I get a lot of. It's quite annoying. All right. So another light one here. What do you suggestions for pre-painting miniatures or retouching cheap miniatures? Well, it really depends on the miniatures. If it was a miniature that was meant to be painted, like if you got like, yeah, it depends on the type of stuff. Usually, what I'll do is I won't try to like reprime. If I'm gonna retouch up a cheap miniature, I'll just paint directly with whatever, you know, game paint I happen to have, and then I'll just usually use some Vallejo varnish on it. Ooh, look at here. We got another creeper mound. I like this. Ooh. I wonder if this is going to be the exact same opening set of miniatures that I got. No, here we got something new. This might be different. So this is cool. We got another dryad, which is good. The poison ivy dryad. What do you say? As for repainting cheap miniatures, I mean, it just depends on what you're repainting. A lot of cheap miniatures, they don't take paint well because they were obviously not meant to be painted. So it just depends. I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail, but you know, soaking stuff and rubbing alcohol seems to actually help out a lot. So I would suggest you try that out. And we got a buzzard. Nice miniature there. A vulture miniature. Alright, so not too upset about our first 2 that we got here. Just check the messages here real quick. How did I start collecting miniatures? I played in a D&D game, and I was interested in, because the guy had like this huge collection of like pre-painted stuff from like Reaper, when Reaper briefly had the pre-painted legendary miniatures. And he had a lot of the old Hasbro sets. So it was just really interesting because he didn't really use them all that much. So I kind of got jealous and I wanted to have miniatures and stuff. So I started using just Warcraft miniatures. Anything I can get for cheap, really. Oh, see, the lion miniature here doesn't look as bad. The tiger miniature looks bad. Now, this looks kind of wonky because of the paint job. But if I want to, I can kind of just repaint his mane, and he'll actually look really nice. So I like this. It's a nice pose. I like this a lot better than line. Okay, so I'm glad I pulled that one. And we have another mystic guy here, who is the human arcanist with the giant book. That's pretty cool. Do you suggest using Warhammer 40k orcs? Yeah, they can make really nice orcs. They actually fit in well with the Hasbro orcs. Do I have anything painted up? No, all I have painted up is the EM3 orcs, and I have some. But I do have some Warhammer orcs, and when I did my video on the EM4 orcs, you can see the comparison videos. We got another Morlock here, which is nice. What is the most expensive miniature I have bought? I bought the White Dragon originally for 20 bucks. So that might be close, because no, it would have been, because I got, mostly I get the promotional miniatures for cheap, but I probably bought like one of the miniature sets for full price with store credit, so that would have been about $50 for one of the premium miniature sets. And we have a lovely little guy here. I don't mind these serpent folk guys. This could make a very nice, obviously a serpent folk snake man in D&D, but this would actually make a kind of interesting NPC character if you had a lizard man rogue. That would really be pretty good. Black Magic Craft is really cool. I like that guy. He actually encouraged me and stuff back in a time when a lot of people were not giving me any encouragement at all, and actually some certain parts of the internet were coming down hard on me for my crappy opinions. But Black Magic Craft was one of the few people who actually supported the heck out of me, and was I think he was probably the reason why I'm on that list of the crafting guild thing. So yeah, he is good people. If I ever come up with a really good idea for a collab, I might approach him for that. But otherwise, everybody here should watch Black Magic Craft stuff, because he has some amazing videos. I might actually try to get into styrofoam crafting because of him and stuff. So he has some really good videos, especially his newest ones on the basics of miniature painting and stuff. Very good. Everybody should go watch Black Magic Craft. So final box for tonight. I might just open up all these, get them out of the way. Ooh, and we have another hollow serpent, which is a nice serpent miniature. Obviously could be used for a number of different things. Decent paint job. Extruded polystyrene, not expanded, yes. Do I have any suggestions for story and campaign? It depends on what you want to happen. I always personally like doing a bait and switch or something, setting up something that's we got another lovely worm monster thing here, which is cool. I'm always a big fan of the bait and switch, where if you have something that just seems to be an obvious, oh, this is a bad guy, you have to go beat him, and then have the players go there, but find out something happened where it was a bait and switch. So they think one thing's the most important thing, but then when they finally get to him, they realize that's not exactly the most important thing happening. I know that I set up in my campaign, which eventually I want to actually make a write-up about, because I've run it about 5-6 times now. In my Trevorn campaign thing, I actually had them going against this set of mercenaries, but the entire thing is that the mercenaries were really just kind of a distraction for the actual bad thing that was happening in town. But it depends. It's interesting too if you can think if your players have any well-rounded characters with like backstories. It's again, you don't want to get into making players want to do the whole edgy Tim thing. Bait and switch. Thinking about story. I'm still trying to figure out this question because it's tough. I'm trying to think about a story. Any suggestions? Bait and switch. I mean, you can always too, like, steal from whatever is happening in your life right now in terms of, like, any interesting TV shows or something that you found, like, really entertaining or something that it's like you found, like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. You know, it's always a good idea to maybe consider if you can kind of fit that into your game, too. So. I am considering setting up an online game. I mean, good news with my actual in-person. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Crafting Titan. And then we finally have another winged demon guy, which is maybe like a Pathfinder character or miniature. I like this. It's got like the little veins in the wings. That's a pretty cool miniature. So that was the fourth box there. I think there was another question. Yes, okay, so D&D meetup with your friends. Yes, so in real life, I've actually been able to have D&D meetups in person pretty good. I've been running a lot of games. It's been a lot of fun. So I think maybe in midsummer I will try to have some online Discord D&D game with anybody that is around. Try to do maybe like a Dungeons Survive thing where viewers of my channel can jump into the game and then die horribly or survive, and we'll have kind of like a really super fast-paced dungeon crawl thing. That would be interesting. And then we would use, obviously, Discord and Roll20 for that. And I'll try to do those, like, maybe on a couple different nights. That way people can, because I have a lot of weird... do you suggest using Battlegrounds, crossbow, and catapults? Battlegrounds, crossbows, and... Battlegrounds, crossbow, and catapults. I don't know exactly what you're referring to. If you're referring to just like using, siege weapons in game, yeah, I always like doing that when we have a lower level party, and then you can introduce like a really powerful monster, but they're on a battlefield, so there's a siege engine nearby. So then the game is the players are trying to use the siege engine somehow to stop the big bad guy, or I'll just have like an abandoned battlefield. So like. It's a board game with cheap alternatives. And what is the name? Crossbows and catapults. Wait a second. Are you following me on social media? Because look what I got. And yeah, no, I got this for I think $3. At the local thrift store, actually. And unfortunately, no. Let me just grab one out of here. I mean, the miniatures in it are not... They're really not that great. I like this one. This one's kind of cool, but obviously it would need to be repainted, fully. But it's not really my cup of tea when it comes to siege engine stuff. And the miniatures aren't that great either. Yeah, so crossbows and catapults, I mean, I bought it because it was like $3, but, I don't know if that would be my first choice when it comes to, like, siege weapon stuff. I ended up going to the thrift store stuff. And I found a bunch of these, this is either Papo or Safari. Let's see here. No, this is Papo. So I ended up finding a bunch of these where the middle wheels are broken off, but obviously you can't change. This one too, I mean, it's just, I think the only super cheap siege weapon that you can find right now, easily find, is the Alchemy Siege Engines of Rome. These things are great. They come pre-painted. They're like $5 for 2 of them on Miniature Market. Sometimes they go down as low as like $4 during a sale. And as you can see, I mean, they're right in scale with D&D or Pathfinder. So obviously it's supposed to be a little bit smaller, but this is a fine looking siege weapon, which is clearly might be a little bit more technologically adapt than some stuff. But yeah, you have the multiple types of ammunition that you can throw in there, and obviously since it's a Roman thing, it's got the nice little Roman design there. Alright, so let's get back to Pathfinder then. How much miniatures do I have? Probably too much, frankly. I think the answer for that is too much. I have a decent collection of pre-painted, and I've got a lot of other stuff too, so. But, yeah, no, I mean, I don't really have much of stuff that's, like, super expensive. And again, because of cost, I think I'm going to kind of stop doing so much. Yeah. Ooh, look at this! So once again, I have the mysterious box that does not have a plastic thing on it. Which means, indeed, yes, we have another hole. A very badly painted spike trap. Which is still a very cool looking miniature. Though I would maybe try to repaint it. Ooh, we have one of these Dwarven Druids. Which, again, is a very plain miniature, but, like, I'm sorry, Elven Druid. A very plain miniature, but I love these guys. Very cool. I like useful miniatures like that. You're always going to eventually need to get to a Elven Druid for your campaign. Oh, and we have a giant leech. Wow, it's just the issue of shipping them, unfortunately. No matter where you live, because it's such a weird box, it would cost a lot to ship it, so send me a private message on my YouTube channel if you want to make an offer, and I might be able to ship it to you. But unfortunately, it's going to cost at least $10 to ship, which probably is more than the miniatures are actually worth, so. We have another flying Chupacabra. Very cool. Okay, that's heavy. I'm going to save that one for last, I think. These two are both heavy. This one's light. I haven't really run across too many big old miniatures in this. There's been a lot of somewhat smallish miniatures. We have yet another clay golem. Which is... Gosh, I don't know if that would look better repainted or not. Certainly looks somewhat okay. I don't think that's what I think of when I think of golem. We have a little... we have a tiny little mold runt veggie pig and stuff. That's pretty cool. What's my biggest miniature? I don't know. Probably my Black Dragon. D&D Icons Black Dragon. Ancient Black Dragon. That's probably my biggest one that I own. Ooh, we got another gold serpent folk. Very nice. Really looks more like a gold lizard person, frankly. The only 3D printing I've had encountered so far is I 3D printed a small base for one of my miniatures during a 3D printing class. And that's all I've had access to. Ooh, here we go. This is an interesting one. Oh, wow. Okay. We have an elf assassin with some weird things on his thigh, which I don't know what the heck those are. Probably magical things. Armed with either, what is a saber or some other sort of weapon. Nice cloak. I like that cloak. Elf assassin. This is not bad. This is obviously would make a nice... This would make a nice, like, NPC, or perhaps even like a vampire spawn. That's a nice miniature. I like that. Alright, so we got the 2 ones here. I'm going to save the one I was going to save the one for last. If I ever get into 3D modeling, then I'll probably be more interested in 3D printing. And then we have another infectious eye guy here. I like the looks of these guys. These are nice. It's got the 6 sets of tentacles. Very nice. I'm happy I got another one of those guys. We have a creeper vine, which I got before, and I'm happy I got another one. Yeah, we got another one of these winged demon guys. Very nice. My tip to every single new DM or GM is just to run a vanilla game once. And, you know, just run a vanilla game with vanilla rules and just use the Forgotten Realms setting. Because it's, you know, Forgotten Realms, I think, unless you're going to get into the weeds with some of it, it's like, yeah. Whoop. Affordable cases online, I don't know of any. We got a River Drake. I wish I could tell you. The cases that I have are all the old Chessex cases. And unfortunately, when it comes to cases, Chessex cases are... sometimes you get them on Amazon for cheap. And then I got a smaller version. You used to be able to get the Stanley cases for like a really good price at Target, but they don't carry them anymore. However, I was able to find the Stanley cases, the tiny version, which is still big enough, obviously, for miniatures. These I got at Walmart on clearance, so you might want to check out your local Walmart to see if these Stanley cases are in. Obviously, these are unpadded, but they are perfect for pre-painted miniatures or, you know, miniatures that you have protected all the heck, that are workhorse miniatures. So, yeah, Stanley cases are great. Yeah, the where to buy dice? I mean, everybody sells dice. I like the Chessex old school looking dice. You can usually find them on sale. See, I always like buying sets like this. These are like $2.99 at Miniature Market. I always buy this super brightly colored, so you can tell what you roll on the table without any shenanigans. So I've gotten most of mine at Miniature Market, and, you know, my local game store, if I find something there at full price that seems nice. But yeah, buy simple dice. Don't buy these like really wacky dice that have all these different colors and stuff. Alright, so final box here. This is heavier. It was slightly squashed, so we will have to see what is going on here with this one. Come on, something cool. And, well, not too awful. We got another Shambler, which, of course, is suspiciously similar to a Shambling Mound, which is a... Well, see? That's why you gotta, like... That's why you love pre-painted miniatures, because you can drop them. You don't have to worry about breaking anything. Yep. Shambling Mound, a.k.a. the Shambler. Okay, miniature. Wow, I think the rarity kind of screwed me on this, because I didn't get any of the... I didn't get very many of the super rare ones. Let's see here. Questions. Sorry, guys. And then Morlock. What's up, Phil Jones? We're just finishing up, opening up some of these Pathfinder battles, the Jungle of Despair, because I was a doofball. Ooh, but I think I got... Okay, I'm going to save that one for last. That's a nice miniature. And then what we got here? Oh, that's... Huh. I am at odds. Look at the paint job on this guy. Wow. So... Yeah. I don't know. I would definitely have to redo this guy. He's got a pretty decent, like, pose and somewhat decent sculpt, but the paint job is just terrible. It's all, like, clumpy. I mean, some of it's... Yeah, this just looks like bad paint. It wasn't mixed right. Alright, see you later, Crafting Titan. And then looks like I did get a super rare one. We got a dwarven, and the lovely dwarven so obviously this miniature is a clear miniature. Yep, it's a dwarven anvil, and it's got a lovely printed rune on the top, and you can see through, so you can see. Yeah, this looks a lot nicer in person, and I like it because it's got some very small runes on the edge there, which is nice. Perhaps a little bit too shiny, but it looks pretty nice. That's a nice little magical thing. Very interesting. Let's see here. Wow, this is all giving you guys a great shot of that piece of... Magic Anvil could be a nice little piece of set dressing. I probably should have only gotten one brick of these miniatures, frankly. I did get some interesting stuff, but, you know, I think that this is just a case of, iffy. Very iffy, this set. I like the commons a lot, so I might have been better off just buying some of the commons at a low price. So let's see here. I'll show you some of the quick stuff I got on clearance at the craft store. A brick generally runs like $80 for a good price. Sometimes Cool Stuff and Company will go down as low as $74, $75. This set I got on eBay when eBay was having a sale, so that was a pretty good pretty good price. But again, I believe it was only like $76 or something, which, if you really consider $76 for these miniatures, it's not the greatest. It's not. Yes, again, I'm actually going to talk to WizKids about that and let them know that the one non-random set they could sell is just a selection of village folk. That would be an amazing set for D&D. Just a selection of village folk from a village. So that would be nice. That would be very shiny and nice. One of the other clearance items I got there was this little piece from Michael's. So this was actually less than 97 cents. And this actually surprised me because it's a nice little bit of scenery here. So obviously that would be a big old hefty bit of maybe like a scrying glass or something like that for D&D. And then finally, let's just take a look at these Battle Claw miniatures. Now these are from the Toys R Us clearance. So I have no idea. I bought this because this was less than $1 and there was a lot of them there. So there's the potential of when Toys R Us finally goes out of style, you might be able to grab a bunch of these for like super cheap. And I have not tried to paint these yet, so the word, it's kind of soft plastic. Yeah. But it's an interesting looking miniature though. Obviously some sort of weird tentacle thing coming out of a shell. 2 big eyes on the side. So that might be kind of interesting. But I would have to see how it is, and I would have to see how paint sticks to this. Any of these set, you get a blind box 1, 2. And I got... what? Dog, lizard, snail thing. Well, that's a bit of a goofy sculpt. Maybe I could paint this like it was like a living statue or something. Yeah, this is definitely Pokemon-esque. This would make a nice little living statue, or just maybe like an actual just statue. It's a little bit too cartoonish to do much else with. Yeah, HeroQuest is one of those things. I think the only HeroQuest stuff that I really have was the stuff that I got at Augie's when they were selling it for cheap. And I got a couple of them from a thrift store as well. I think a lot of the HeroQuest stuff is nice. I mean, obviously some of it was reprints from the D&D lines and whatnot. But some of it was pretty good. Like the ninjas and the samurai and the Vikings obviously would work out pretty well with D&D stuff. Well, shoot. Once again, I am done with my stream, and I have the maximum amount of people watching. So, yeah. So, any other quick questions before I end this stream for tonight? A baby boulet. That could work out. A baby boulet? Yeah, see, that's the thing. I'd almost rather start from scratch if I wanted to do a cool thing. Yeah. This could actually make a pretty cool statue, too. It's just kind of some sort of weird elder god thing. That might be kind of cool. Monster Manager, I don't know what the heck Monster Manager is. I've not heard of it. If it is not on clearance in a store, then chances are I will not be buying it. What is this called? Oh, shoot. This is called Battle Claw. And the only reason well, thank you, Anna. This last one was called Battle Claw again. And the only reason I bring that up is because there was like 1 million of them at my local Toys R Us that's closing down, so. Monster Menageries. If there's a good deal on them, I believe Cool Stuff and Company has a decent deal on them right now, but I think I'm going to be saving up my money for future releases. Thank you. This is obviously a crappy Chinese knife that I bought at a fair, and the very tip was broken off trying to debase a Dream Blade miniature. Oh yeah, I should really ask you guys because you're here. I actually did get yet another delivery of Chinese factory seconds. So here's a question. Do you guys recognize this Knoll miniature? Because this is a set of, and I've got about 10 of them that I got. Now, I might be actually responsible for Chinese factory seconds increasing in pricing because it's been crazy. People have been like buying these like they're like brand new miniatures, and it's just like the whole point of Chinese factory seconds was that they were cheap. So I don't understand why people all of a sudden started grabbing a bunch of them. But yeah, no, this guy, I don't recognize him. I got about 10 of him. I want to say obviously, this is a WizKids miniature, obviously. So either Pathfinder or D&D. But this might be an unreleased guy, because I have not seen this specific sculpt. And it's obvious this is a Knoll miniature, but he's a lot smaller than the Knoll miniatures that they released. Let me just see here. I'm going to grab a Knoll. It kind of looks like a Pathfinder Knoll. Just grab this bad boy here. Yeah, I can't find a Pathfinder Knoll unless I dig through my miniatures. See, this is a newly released. So obviously he's not a D&D Knoll because he's way smaller. But the Pathfinder Knolls are this size. But I can't find a release of a Knoll that looks like this. So this, I might very well have the greens for an unreleased Pathfinder Knoll. So, Chinese factory seconds. I feel kind of bad because I think I was the only one on YouTube that was talking about these miniatures. And that I might have actually just kind of destroyed the market. Dork Vader, what are you going to be unboxing, Dork? Biscuits and gravy. Biscuits and gravy. Make me all alive. Biscuits and gravy. Make me a man. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find these. Alright, well, best of luck. I know I'm probably going to be doing less unboxings of D&D pre-painted stuff, so you might be able to find some stuff there. Yeah. Oh, and I'll quick show off some of these cool miniature knot ones that I painted during my live stream. I don't know how the heck you guys actually can look at the live streams. Yeah, because they're always like set as unlisted after I'm done with them. But I painted 7 miniatures in one night, and this guy turned out pretty nice. Again, this is the Rising Sun board game miniature. You can find these on eBay right now for pretty cheap. I like this guy with his bucket helmet. It's very nice. And then, of course, we have some cool mini or not zombie side Black Plague miniatures. Should the blank bottom there. Very nice. And then the dwarf guy that I didn't like, but he actually turned out really nice. And these were all speed painted, so obviously, you know, I was going for speed and not making them look as beautiful as possible. Though the samurai guy did turn out very nice. If anybody's interested, see, it's too bad because I almost wish they actually had like a real box of like just NPCs before they turned into zombies. These were all based with black because they're zombies and stuff. So, but normally I do gray for the most miniatures. I do gray, but some of them I do. This is one of the ones I painted earlier. But yeah, I think I still have this pack somewhere here. Yeah. So these are from the NPC Notoriously Plagued characters. These are just extra zombie miniatures. You get 20 of them in this pack. That's not a bad deal. So, if anybody's interested in getting more varied zombies, that's a very good pack for that. I gotta come up with a better stand, because every time I hit this thing to check the chat, like, the whole thing wobbles. And that can't be fun to look at. And this guy here, I did the absolute minimum paint job on. And he still looks okay. Yeah. Yeah, those Knoll miniatures might be... I might have gotten my hands on some unpublished Knoll stuff. Unless these are, like, from some other game. These look a lot like WizKid stuff. Though, who knows? These could be maybe, like... I don't know, maybe from another board game? Maybe, like... I don't know, like, one of the cool miniatures or knots, or... I should check to see if, I don't know, there's a lot of board games out there. There's a lot of, like, oh, yeah, maybe they're from another board game. They're very interesting, though. They're definitely the same size as the Pathfinder Knolls, so. Alright, then. Well, my video camera. Ooh, I need creatures. Yeah, seriously, villagers is the big thing. Back in the day, you could go to craft stores, and they would have, like, the medieval character sets for, like, dioramas, and you were sometimes able to get cheap miniatures that way, because they had the character sets of, like, the medieval people and whatnot. I was actually doing some, I was trying to find some miniatures, and I was looking at, oh, where was it? I just had them, and now they're not here. This is very frustrating when you look for miniatures that you just pulled out, and you don't have any more. Wow. Yeah, see, there was some, I was looking for some, you know, just, people. There's some Clubman Militia from Warlord games, Pike and Shot. Now, these guys, unfortunately, are 28mm, but they're not heroic 28mm. So, they're going to be a lot smaller. And I also was looking for Pro Gloria miniatures, but again, these guys, yeah, I was going to get these for villagers, but again, these guys are just smaller. So, honestly, the few Reaper Bones miniatures for villagers, that's probably the best bet so far. But yeah, no, I'm going to talk to WizKids. They've released some really nice unpainted miniatures that I actually have. We're going to be painting up soon. They did like one set of townspeople where you have a noble and then you have a farmer guy. So that's nice, but like it would be really cool if you get like a non-random pack of just like 10 townsfolk. That would be really nice. I made my bartender have a black eye. because generally speaking, yeah, he's pretty grumpy looking. Dungeon Dwellers also has some really nice miniatures as well. Dungeon Dwellers miniatures had some merchant guys, which were kind of cool. But again, you know, these were guys that you would have to like paint yourself. And I didn't prime that guy properly either. So yeah, a nice pre-painted set of villagers would be awesome. Dwarven Forge also had some townsfolk, but I don't think they're that cheap. Yeah, no, Dwarven Forge prices are super expensive. The sets you all see are the ones during the first couple Kickstarters where you get stuff for a decent price. And it seems since then they've been catering more to the like diorama crowd that are willing to like, you know, spend $1,000 on stuff, and it's just like, eh. It depends on the set. I mean, D&D stuff is more convenient for me because I use D&D rules, and thus, you know, they have the exact miniatures for the exact rules. But yeah. Well, all right then. Again, guys, I wish I could sit here and keep on talking to you, but unfortunately, my camera battery is going to die soon. And unfortunately, I have run around. I don't have much else to show you guys right now because I want to save the rest for upcoming videos. So best of luck. If I do find a place to get cheap villager miniatures, whether they be pre-painted or not, you guys will be the first to know because I will do a huge video about it. But again, as of now, price-wise, unpainted Knoll's Ears and I believe Reaper are going to be your most inexpensive possibilities for getting those villager miniatures that everybody needs. But hopefully WizKids will eventually change their minds and they'll provide some non-blind box miniature sets for common miniatures that everybody needs, including villager miniatures. So, you guys all have a nice evening. Thank you very much for all the great questions, and please be on the lookout for new videos as they come around. Bye. And as always, I'm going to have to do this awkward thing where I shake the camera because I can't get to the stop button with my current setup. So, I'll give you one last shot of my miniatures that I'm going to be painting on live stream soon. As you can see, it's a collection of cool miniature, not miniatures, some old miniature, metal miniatures, and a bunch of D&D Factory seconds. So, as always, you guys have a nice evening. Have a nice day. And keep on gaming and crafting. Hope you guys have a great summer. It's shaping up to be an interesting one.